What's up, Internet? Welcome to Weirdo Reviews. I'm Jonathan Sim, your favorite movie weirdo, and it is time for a review. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is a comedy drama written and directed by Quentin Tarantino. This is his 9th movie, and it's basically, just a very Tarantino-ish movie. This movie has basically 3 main plots, but it's kind of, a mishmash of all of these things. You have Leonardo DiCaprio as Rick Dalton, an aging TV actor in the 1960s who's trying to remain relevant and cool and popular. Brad Pitt plays his stunt double. Margot Robbie is Sharon Tate. This movie connects to the Manson murders, and we had a Tarantino movie. Now, I know that everybody loves this movie. Everybody just has a lot of great things to say about this movie, and I can kind of understand why. This movie has a lot of great things going for it, because Tarantino always makes his movies with a very unique, distinct style to them. This movie can kind of feel reminiscent of Pulp Fiction, in which you just have all these different storylines, kind of intercut together, and it's just very interesting. It's an interesting style of filmmaking that I feel like a lot of people would enjoy watching from him. Leonardo DiCaprio, do I need to say more? He is great in virtually everything that he does. So, of course, he's great in this movie as Rick Dalton. This may not be his most memorable or, not even his greatest performance. I do see him getting Oscars for this. Well, not getting Oscars, but I see him being nominated for Oscars. And, he was good. Just I feel like this movie could have pushed him a little bit harder as an actor. Brad Pitt is very entertaining in this movie, and Margot Robbie is really good, but she's barely in the movie. She's not given that much to do throughout this whole movie, and I feel like they could have used her talents a little bit more in this movie, because she just didn't really contribute that much to the actual story. Now, even though everybody loves this movie and a lot of people think that, a lot of people say that this is the best movie of 2019, I respectfully disagree. I don't agree. This movie was not what I was expecting. I watched this movie twice. The first time was on opening day, then I watched it again, I think yesterday, just so I could, process my thoughts on it, see what I thought of it. And the thing with this movie is, it doesn't really have a story. It's very slow-paced, and I'm not a big fan of when people do that. Now I know you're gonna be thinking, oh my god, this is just another one of those guys who wants a lot of action, and he can't take a proper, smart, cinematic film. What a douche. What is wrong with this guy? And my response is, I like old movies, and I like, anything that just is interesting. I like those kinds of movies. Alien, 12 Angry Men, these are just great movies. I give them all 10 out of 10. So, I don't think the argument can be made that I'm just a big action junkie who only likes action, because, I do like action, but it's not needed. I don't need action. What I need is a good story. And unfortunately, I don't think that this movie delivered in terms of that aspect. I feel like it could have been a much better story, but it just kind of felt very unfocused, because we had Leonardo DiCaprio's storyline, Brad Pitt's storyline, and Margot Robbie's storyline, and it was all just kind of meshed together in a weird way, and I'm not a big fan of when that happens. Kind of reminded me of The Secret Life of Pets 2, which came out earlier this year, even though this movie's much better than The Secret Life of Pets 2, where you have all these different storylines, and they just don't really seem to have any point to them. So if you love this movie, then I can understand, because this movie has a lot of really great charm, some really great performances, and a very, very good, unique, distinct style that definitely has the Tarantino stamp all over it, but like, I'm just not that big of a fan of when, we have all these different things that just don't really seem to have a point. And here's the thing. I like non-linear movies, okay? Memento, 500 Days of Summer, I love those movies. This movie's not non-linear though. It's just like all over the place. It's like just, you know what that all meant? I don't, but like that's how I would describe this movie. I didn't hate this movie at all. I really did like it, but it's just not my favorite Tarantino movie. I mean, I think my favorite Tarantino movie would be Django Unchained, just because I liked how that movie just had a very, very good narrative, something that was very, just entertaining and easy, something that was like all one narrative instead of just jumping around back and forth like the way this movie does. And I also feel like this movie's transition between the second and third act was just a little bit weird, because like towards the third act they started to rely so much on this narration, and it felt so distant from the rest of the movie. Like it just, like the whole style kind of changed starting with the third act, and I just thought that was a really odd choice. But I mean, Tarantino makes a lot of odd choices. If you're wondering about Tarantino's foot fetish and if it's in this movie, trust me, it is, okay? There are at least 3 scenes in this movie where we have some feet directly in your fucking face. Just like right there, just a lot of feet is in this movie. And I'm like, yo, Tarantino, we all know you love feet, okay? But we don't need to see all of that feet. Just get that shit out of our eyes, alright? There are kids in your audience. Stop showing us all that feet. Overall, I mean, I do like Tarantino as a filmmaker, and I like how he can make all these different, bold choices that are kind of unconventional, and like I kind of respect that. I do respect that, but like it's just not always my favorite style. It's not my personal cup of tea. And like the final 30 minutes of this movie are incredible in my opinion. I think the final act of this movie after the narration ends is just like, it's perfect. And because like the narration was just very unnecessary to me. I feel like it could have just been taken out. Like it didn't really serve a purpose to actually just have all this narration being thrown into the movie. But after that, it just really picks up from there, and it's one of my favorite finales from Tarantino. I love the final 30 minutes of this movie. This was a pretty good movie. I had a lot of fun with it. I'm going to give Once Upon a Time in Hollywood a 7 out of 10. Now, I know that that's the same amount as The Lion King, but it's better than The Lion King, okay? So, what are your thoughts on Once Upon a Time in Hollywood? I would love to know. Let me know down in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to like this video and subscribe if you like this video. And as always, stay weird.
In this town, that can all change like that.
Hey! You're Rick fucking Dalton. Don't you forget it.